Hi, this is Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems Incorporated out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And tonight we are at Mount Carmel Pentecostal FWB Baptist Church out in the Shallotte, North Carolina area. And we've just finished doing some upgrades for their sanctuary sound system, where we installed 2 front of house speakers, some video monitors, and we'll get a pan shot of that once we finish. Kept everything very simple in this installation. The church elected to go with a small powered mixer. We're using I don't know if you can see it in the video, but we're using a laptop with a worship software. We're using Songview on this particular program. And you may or may not be able to see, we just have a small TV monitor, and we've installed a small small camera in the ceiling just so they can have a modulated video signal out into the overflow area, fellowship hall, nursery, and such. Keeping it very simple with the sound system setup, we've installed 5 Audio-Technica of the System 10 handheld wireless microphones. Just a general overview of these microphones: they use obviously AA batteries. There are 5 currently installed. The best operation for these guys: one small button on the bottom of the microphone, hold it for a couple seconds. Microphone will fire up. It takes it just a couple seconds to find the host or find this receiver, and this particular one is labeled as number 5.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2. And now we are listening to this particular handheld microphone through the audio system. Check 1, 2.
Test 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Test 1, 2.
Now we touch the bottom again, and it mutes. Touch it again, opens it up, and or we hold it for 2 seconds, and it goes away. So we have 5 of these in the installation. I'm going to set this over to the side for now, and I'm going to spend a few minutes just talking about the very simple setup for the audio mixer. Audio mixer operates in this fashion. We currently have 12 channels of operation. We have an effects processor, which a digital reverb, a little bit of digital delay. We have monitor 1, monitor 2, and the master volume for our house or our congregation speakers. This is the master section. So these 2 knobs, the 2 gray knobs, which are currently set at 0 at unity gain, they are the master volumes for the main sanctuary. Monitor 2 right now is not being used just for anything we decide to do in the future, but monitor 1 does feed 2 floor wedges that obviously are up on the stage for singers and performers to hear. As far as the inputs of the channel of the audio mixer, I have the current Yamaha Clavinova on stage plugged into channel 1. We have a guitar amplifier, an old Lab Series L7, pretty cool amplifier actually. It's tied into channel 2. Channels 3, 4, and 5 are currently open, as there is a 16-channel snake on stage, and although we're not using nearly any of those inputs, the extra portion of the snake is tied up underneath just in case for future growth. Channel 6, we have wireless 1, wireless 2, wireless 3, wireless 4, and one I've labeled as Pastor, which will turn into wireless 5 eventually. Channel 11 is a current Tascam CD200 that I'm playing underneath here. I don't know if we can see it in the video or not, but it lives right down in that area there. We'll pan here in just a minute. And then my channel 12 I've labeled as computer media, where I have a 3.5 cable coming out of my computer coming over here to channel 12, and or we could unplug this cable and it could be served by an iPad, or if somebody had special music on their phone for wedding or funeral, then this becomes a media type source for us. But right now it's coming out of the output of the laptop over here and feeding from our worship software. A couple of very important things. This button here, which is a white power amplifier mode button, sometimes these will get off. And what we've done is the mixer has 2 amplifiers. We're using 1 amplifier to drive the main speakers, and we're using 1 amplifier to drive the monitor speakers. So therefore we have to tell it on the amplifier mode. Now it should stay where it's at now, but in case it gets off or we're not getting sound out of the audio, we push this amplifier mode button until that we always make sure that we have monitor 1 lit up on amp 1, and that we have main LED lit up on amp 2. And we should be able to see those lights in the video. Yes, I think we can. So main green light lit up on amp 2, and amp 1 needs to be monitor 1, which is kind of a yellowish light. If those get off for any reason, we can push this amplifier mode switch, and that will get us back to that position. Which is really telling one amplifier to drive the monitors and one amplifier to drive the mains. Pretty straightforward. Okay, as far as the channel strip goes, I'll use this current CD to play to demonstrate. First of all, I have a level control here on the bottom. Well, let me back up. I have my CD player plugged into 2 inputs up here on channel 11. It's a left and right mono. Sometimes I may have a CD that may have a split track, instruments only or vocals only, in this case, where I could just unplug one of the 2 and I would have either instruments or vocals, whatever I chose. Underneath that, there's a gain control for the microphone input, which is right behind here, and our gain control for the line input is this guy right here. Currently set at about 9 o'clock on the clock face, and that allows us to match up the level. So that allows us to match up the input so that hopefully we could have close to a unity gain type of mix. If someone were to be singing with the CD and a microphone, we'd like to have a good balance if at all possible. Underneath that is high, mids, and lows, which is basically just tone control. And then, excuse me, the red knob down below it says monitor 1. This is very key because this lets me send this CD player sound to this level control, which goes to the stage. For example, if I push my slider up, that makes my music louder in the sanctuary. If I'm standing on stage and I'd like to sing with this pre-recorded soundtrack, I would have to hear something through monitor 1 on stage. So I can come up here to the red knob, monitor 1. Now I'm listening to my CD only through the monitor mix up on the stage area. And I can adjust that accordingly to whatever needs I may have up there. So I have monitor 1 and our house system. I have music playing on both sections of the stage. Underneath that is monitor 2, which we're not using at all this time. Monitor 2 ties to monitor 2, not being used. Then I have an effects processor. It's actually an orange knob. That ties to an effects master volume here. For example, let me go back to my handheld microphone. Push it for 2 seconds. Excuse me. Turn it on.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm listening to the pastor's labeled microphone in channel 10.
I can come over here and I can mute the switch.
I can light it up. And then I can come up to my effects processor, which is tied to these 2 knobs, and I can select any type of reverb or chorus or delay or echo that I would like just by turning these dials till I find something that I was familiar with. I can add as much effects only to this microphone as I would like, and then if someone were to sing using this microphone, check, check, 1, 2, hey, 1. Then now I have a nice room reverb effect or a smooth effect using from that microphone. Now, very important, or in my opinion, if someone's using a microphone and they're singing with some type of audio effects, reverb, delay, chorus, I always think it's best after the song's over, once they're speaking, if they're giving testimony or some type of scripture reading or anything like that, I always have the opinion that we should mute the effects processor so that we're not listening to those effects while they're talking. Okay, get rid of our effects, turn our music back on.
Turn our microphone off. Lay that back up there. So just to review, I have music in the sanctuary. I have music going to the stage. Then everything else is pretty much to taste. I have bass, mid-range treble, or whatever I'd like to do to brighten or darken somebody's voice, or however I'd like to do it. I do, however, have mute switches for each channel, but I also do have mute switches for the effects. I have a mute switch for my monitors on stage, and I'd have a mute switch for monitor 2 if I were to use those. We're not using any type of phantom or any type of condenser microphone, so there's no need at this time to push this button on. There's a little recessed button right there that says phantom power, and it provides 48 volts of power to some type of specialty microphone like a choir mic or pulpit mic. We're not using it. I'm not a big fan of phantom power if we're not using any of those type of microphones, so I'm electing to leave it off. I have a graphic equalizer that takes care of the monitors. I have a graphic equalizer that takes care of the house system. Nice little smiley face, kind of gets us a nice little musical setting. And that primarily takes care of the mixing console. That pretty much drives everything we have to have. We have plenty of level, plenty of volume. We have additional inputs and outputs that we can grow with. Now, we also have a computer system here, and underneath the computer system I have a DVD. We may not be able to see it in the video, but right under the computer bed I have a DVD recorder where we have a single fixed camera mounted to the ceiling of the church. That camera feeds the video feed on the DVD recorder. The DVD recorder comes out and into a modulated signal, which means I can go to the nursery, fellowship hall, and the other overflow room over here, and I can turn a TV on to channel 3, and you can see and or hear what's going on in the sanctuary, like we are doing with our test monitor. If we can see this over here to the side, apologize, but I'm in a tight space right here. So basically, the whole setup of the the new setup of the system is I have a CD player, which is my main music source. I have a DVD recorder. And incidentally, if anybody in the church has old VHS tapes that they would like to convert over to a DVD, this is an ideal piece to do that. We have a computer with a variety of software, SongView, SongShow Plus, Easy Slides, all of those type of programs installed into the computer. Obviously, they can play a DVD. And most important, let me bring that up on the computer. For example, the worship software that we're looking at duplicates to the monitors up in the sanctuary. That's a shot of the sanctuary, and that's the monitor end that you see. If someone would come in during a wedding or funeral, and they just had a DVD they'd like to play, we could put a DVD in the side of the computer, and we could hit the Windows logo and P, and our options would come over here to the side. The DVD would be playing on this screen, but I would also want it to play on the video monitors. Currently, we're set up for extended monitors, which is paramount anytime that we're using some type of worship software or PowerPoint or any other type of program or similar program. So PowerPoint, SongShow Plus, ProPresenter, Media Shout, any program we decide to use, they have to be set up for an extended screen. Because this is our working screen, and what the congregation is looking at is a nice little finished product up there with video monitors hanging from the ceiling. Also, two nice Galaxy Core 12 monitors mounted to the ceiling, with which we flip the drivers around so they can live on their side. Okay, that's a general overview of the sound system for now. We're going to come back and do some real training with the church, but any questions for me, I am Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems Incorporated in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I can be reached at 843-602-5883. Thank you.